Average Pat's Movie Reviews.
Hi everyone, Average Pat here to sit to chat today about the movie Motherless Brooklyn. This is a detective film noir type movie set in 1950s, following the story of Lionel Esrog, a detective assistant who, well, not really assistant, but a detective who works for his idol Frank Minna, played by Bruce Willis, who has Tourette's syndrome and a little bit of a obsessive compulsive disorder as well. Lionel is portrayed by Edward Norton, who really wore a lot of hats in this movie. He wrote the screenplay, he directed it, he produced it, and he stars in it. And what a home run he hit. I'm not going to hit all the major players. I'm going to throw a couple names at you here. Willem Dafoe, Alec Baldwin, Dallas Roberts, Fisher Stevens, Cherry Jones. It's just a really great cast that all fit very seamlessly together. The story is just incredibly well written, very well developed. You start to feel really sympathetic towards Lionel having his difficulty and his inflections of being unable to control. Sorry about that. Apparently my dog liked the movie too. You feel bad for Lionel not being able to control his thoughts, his words that blurred out, his uncontrollable tics. But you see the gears rolling in his head. He's a very smart person who's got a ridiculous memory, and that is what Frank relied on him for in the company. He was always very accurate, always knew the details of everything, and it's neat to see somebody who's portraying a hero with difficulties at the same time and doing it very effectively and in a way that makes you believe and makes you understand. It's not a compromise. It's just somebody doing a very good job of both roles and blending it into one character. In the story, Frank has Lionel and his partner assist him on basically an undercover stakeout. Frank goes in to meet up with some people that are a little on the shady side. They put him in a car. They're supposed to be followed by Lionel, and they get lost. They finally wind up finding him as he gets shot and killed. Nobody knows who these people were. Nobody knows anything about what they were or what the whole story was, just little bits and pieces. But it's up to Lionel to help solve it. And Lionel, with his incredible memory, starts piecing together all the story, all the complications of who was who and what the story meant and what everything meant by different words they said, different phrases they said. And he starts from the beginning and works his way through and comes into a lot of difficulty across the lines and comes into a lot of hard situations that are portrayed incredibly well. The villain in this movie is portrayed very well. The good person isn't really a good person, or is he? You can't really tell. You're not really positive as to who's able to be trusted, who's on what side. And again, in the 50s style noir, it's a good suspenseful drama. It's a very well done movie. I really, really appreciated it and really liked that type of story. Again, the way that you're immersed in a whole series and a whole situation and a whole in-depth of the characters, you don't see Edward Norton. You see Lionel. You see, the people that are in the movie as them, not as their character, not as the actors, but as their characters. And to me, when you get a storyline written that well, that you forget who the people really are and just focus on their characters without even hesitation, like you automatically, like it's Lionel, like right away, or it's Moses, or it's Frank, or whoever it may be in the movie, you automatically pay attention to that. That is a good sign of great, great screenplay and great character development. So the writing was great, but the characters were portrayed incredibly well. I don't know that this is going to pull any kind of awards nominations, nods, or anything along those lines. Do I feel it's necessary? I don't think it would be wrong to say that Norton deserves at least consideration for it, because it is a very well done movie. And again, the suspension of disbelief of, oh, it's Edward Norton doing another movie, it's American History X or something else, or Incredible Hulk. No, this is a great movie that he did very well in control of and starring in. when you see the performances by everybody, when you see the storyline flow the way it does with the twists and turns, the typical, man, I knew that was coming, but I didn't expect it there. The music in it, everything is just so well done. You expect it to be a black and white, this dame walked into my office type deal. You expect that whole stereotype of the dark noir detective shows, and it's obviously not in black and white like The Lighthouse was, but this one, you get that whole vibe from it. You get that whole storyline of, it's just Lionel's just a regular dude doing his job back in the 50s, and people are who they're going to be. The music fits it perfectly. There's a lot of jazz. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes music, like as they're walking, as they're doing something. The soundtrack is incredible. It fits it perfectly. The storyline blends amazingly well with it. Overall, when you see and listen to it, you can close your eyes and picture what scene is going to be, or when you hear it opening up, I've it's one of those ones where you try to rehash a moment to remember what was my favorite part of this movie, what was my favorite scene. Most of them involve music. There are a couple that don't, and a couple good laughs, a couple good zingers that are in there. But the main ones have music in there, and it blends very, very well. And when you see it, you'll understand. I can't explain it very well, unfortunately. It's just the way the story goes. It's done that well. Overall, my thought on this, easily a 4.5. I would say 4 3/4, but I don't want to go too high on it. There is a couple scenes where I thought maybe it could have been done a little bit better, but overall the cinematography is great, the sound is great, the character development's great, the screenwriting's great, and like I said, the directing was done incredibly well by Edward Norton. The man's a very talented person, and he truly shows it in this performance and in this movie by directing it as well. So again, I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. Great movie. Go see it. It's very well worth it. If you like the old suspenseful 50s dramas or the detective noirs, this is right up that alley. Great movie. Good times. If you like this review or any of my reviews, please make sure to like them on Facebook. Subscribe to my YouTube page. Click the little subscription bell. It's a little icon there. That way you know when I post up new reviews. I've got a couple more coming out. Trying to keep up and catch up on all the backlog I have. Getting better with Premiere Pro. I will be able to use that pretty soon to be able to put some newer twists on my reviews. Make it a little bit more exciting than just me talking. Maybe be able to put in some different visuals. I'm learning a lot more and having a lot of more fun with it. And I really can't wait to show you guys. Have a great night. Thanks a lot. See ya.